The creator economy has been lying to you about why the elites made it. And the lie is so comfortable, so easy to accept that most creators never stop to question it. The lie sounds like this. They were exceptional. They were talented. They were in the right place at the right time. The algorithm loved them. The stars aligned. And that's why they're where they are. And you're still where you are. That lie is everywhere. It's in every coaching program, every course, every here's how I made it video from someone who made it 10 years ago. And here's why it's so dangerous. Because the moment you accept that story, you stop looking for the real reason. And the real reason is something the industry has every incentive to hide from you. Something structural, something buildable, something that has nothing to do with talent or timing or luck. I'm Kelly Lorraine. This is Watch Me Build Social. And by the end of this video, you're gonna know the 4 specific structures the elite built that nobody in this industry has any incentive to name. And you're going to know exactly which one is your actual ceiling right now. Let's get into it. Let me tell you why the lie works so well, because it's partly true. The elite creators you love did work hard. They did show up consistently. They did create good content. Those things are real, but here's what the story leaves out. Hard work and good content are the entry fee. They're what get you into the game. They're not what determine how far you go once you're in it. The mid-tier creator works just as hard as the elite creator, often harder. They're posting consistently, optimizing constantly, engaging daily, trying every new strategy the moment it surfaces. And they're still hitting the same ceiling. Not because they're not working hard enough, because hard work applied to the wrong layer doesn't produce structural results. So if it's not talent and it's not timing, what is it? And why has nobody said this out loud before? Nobody names the real reason you're stuck, because naming it would give you back your power. And that is bad for business and for elite creators. The entire coaching and course industry in the creator economy is built on the belief that the gap is a knowledge gap, a mindset gap, an effort gap. Buy this course and you'll have the knowledge. Follow this framework and you'll have the mindset. But what if the gap isn't any of those things? What if the gap is structural? And what if the structural gap, unlike a knowledge gap, can be closed by anyone who understands what they're building toward? Then that changes everything for you. The elite creator has 4 structural advantages and the mid-tier creator is still building. And the reason nobody names them is that naming them would mean admitting the gap is closable. And a closable gap doesn't keep you buying. So let's name them. Structure number 1. The first structural gap you might be missing is the positioning precision. There's a difference between having a niche and having a position. And most mid-tier creators have one, but not the other, and don't even know it. A niche tells the algorithm what category to put you in. Fitness, business, cooking, spirituality, that's a starting point. It's table stakes. A position tells a specific person in a specific moment of their life why you are the only one saying what they need to hear right now. That's a completely different thing. When someone lands on an elite creator's profile, they know within 3 seconds whether it's for them. The positioning is that precise. When someone lands on a mid-tier creator's profile, they often have to watch several videos before they understand what the creator is actually about. And most people don't watch several videos before deciding. They decide in seconds. If they can't immediately see themselves in your content, they leave and they don't come back. I know what it feels like to have a niche, but not a position. To have a topic, but not a point of view so specific that a stranger could find themselves in it instantly. That gap between being in the right category and being the only right answer for the right person is where most mid-tier creators live. Positioning precision isn't about narrowing your audience. It's about sharpening your message so the right person recognizes themselves in it the moment they land. Structure number 2. The second structure is amplification infrastructure. The elite creator doesn't just post content. They've built a system where every single piece of content leads somewhere specific. Short form leads to long form. Long form leads to email. Email leads to community. Community leads to a product. Product leads back to content. Every piece of content is a node in a network, and that network amplifies everything. Because nothing they create just sits there. Every piece has somewhere to go and something to do. Your typical mid-tier creator has pieces of great content, but the pieces aren't connected into a deliberate system. They're individual efforts running in parallel, not a network compounding together. Think about it this way. You can have the best individual bricks in the world, but without the architecture that connects them, you don't have a building. You have a pile of bricks. That's the difference between having content and having infrastructure. Structure number 3. The third structure is trust at scale. Most people think trust is about being liked, being admired, being inspiring, being relatable, but it's not. Trust at scale is built through one thing: consistent delivery of a specific promise. Every video delivers exactly what the audience came for. Every piece of content reinforces the same core idea. Every interaction reflects the same values. When a brand new viewer lands on Elite Creator's channel and watches one video, they immediately understand what every other video is going to give them. The promise is that clear. The trust is built before the second video even plays. The mid-tier creator is often still building trust one video at a time, without the clear promise that allows it to compound, which means you're doing the work of earning trust with every single upload, instead of having your channel's reputation do that work for you automatically. Trust at scale isn't about how many people trust you. It's about how fast a brand new person can decide to trust you before they've watched a single minute. Now, here's the reframe I want you to sit with. The reason the Elite Creator doesn't teach you these 4 structures isn't because they're protective of their secrets. It's because teaching them would mean admitting the gap is structural. And a structural gap, unlike a talent gap, can be closed. The industry needs you to believe it's talent, because that belief keeps you consuming. A talent gap means you need more coaching, more courses, more investment. A structural gap means you need clarity and the right architecture. Those are 2 very different business models, and now you know which one is true. Structure number 4. The 4th structure, and the most powerful, is category ownership. The Elite Creator doesn't just participate in a conversation that already exists. They define it. They name the thing. They framed the problem in a way nobody had framed it before. They created the language that everyone else now uses to talk about the space. And once you own the language, you own the category. And that, my friends, is category ownership. It's not about being first. It's about being definitive. Being first means you showed up early. Being definitive means when someone thinks about a specific problem, your name is the one that comes up. You are the reference point. The mid-tier creator is often contributing to a conversation someone else defined, creating inside a framework that someone else named, and wondering why their content always feels like it's competing instead of leading. Category ownership is what happens when you stop contributing to the conversation and start defining it. When you name the thing, when your framework becomes the lens people use to understand their own situation. That's exactly what Watch Me Build Social is doing with the Amplification Gap. That's not borrowed language. That's a category being built in public, in real time, right here. The mid-tier creator who builds their own category, their own language, their own framework, that's the creator who stops competing and starts leading. I want you to stop for a second and ask yourself something. Of those 4 structures, positioning precision, amplification infrastructure, trust at scale, category ownership, which one is your actual ceiling right now? Not all 4, the one you feel you're missing most. And the reason I ask is because the creator who can name their specific structural gap is already ahead of the creator who's still trying everything at once. Here's why that question matters so much. Every piece of advice you've received about growing has addressed the wrong layer. Post more consistently, niche down further, engage more in the comments, try a new format, fix your thumbnail. You did all of that. You were consistent. You tried the strategies, and the growth either didn't come or it hit a ceiling you couldn't break through. Not because you executed badly, because the advice was aimed at the symptoms, not the structure. The mid-tier creator has traction, but not infrastructure. Content, but not positioning. An audience, but not trust at scale. A voice, but not a category. Surface-level solutions applied to structural problems don't produce structural results. They never have. You don't need more tactics. You need structural solutions to structural problems. And now you know what those 4 structures are. Before you do anything else today, answer that question. Which one of those 4 structures is your actual ceiling right now? Write it down. Say it out loud, because the gap you can name is the gap you can close, and the gap you can't name is the one that keeps you stuck indefinitely. Positioning precision, amplification infrastructure, trust at scale, category ownership. These are not gifts. They're not accidents. They're not the product of timing or luck. They are the product of deliberate structural work, applied consistently over time with a clear understanding of what you're building toward. And every single one of them is buildable from exactly where you are right now. You don't need what the elite have. You need to understand what they built, because what they built, you can build too. Brick by brick, with the right framework and the right direction. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're not missing something you were supposed to be born with. You're building. And now you know what you're building toward. But here's what I didn't know when I started building it. There's a darker side to this story, because once you understand what the elite built, you also have to understand what happens when someone tries to sell you a shortcut to those 4 things before you're structurally ready for them. What it looks like, what it feels like, what it actually costs, and what the mid-tier creator should do instead. That's video 7. And it's the video I wish someone had made before a very specific DM landed in my inbox. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Hit the notification bell. And if this video gave you a name for something you've been feeling, share it with the creator in your life who's been doing everything right and still can't break through. They need to know the gap is structural and it's closable. I'm Lorraine. This is Watch Me Build Social. Watch me.